Dr. Siti Haja Halidi is a senior lecturer at University of Malaya. She was formerly with the research division in Prime Minister Department Malaysia. She holds a degree in Information System Management from University of Technology Mara, Master in Educational Technology and PhD in Adult Education Technology from University Science Malaysia. Her work are published in ISI, Scopus, Malaysian and also international journal including IRR, ODL, IJLT, MJLM, TOJET, Procedure of Social and Behaviour Sciences, Australian Journal of Basic and Applied Sciences, and etc. She has published books and chapter in books on pembelajaran belajar dewasa melalui teknologi sidang video, penggunaan teknologi maklumat dan komunikasi dalam kalangan masyarakat miskin bandar, etc. She has received awards such as Dean Award, Best Presentation Award, Excellent Service Award, Gold Award, the Most Outstanding Reviewer, Appreciation Certificate from Jabatan Pendidikan Selangor, and Scholarship from My Brain 15 and USN Fellowship. She has wide experience in teaching and training in the area of educational technology. She also served as Chief of Editor of Journal Pendidikan and Article Reviewer for Educational Technology and Society, Malaysian Online Journal of Educational Technology, and etc. She is the Program Coordinator for University Open Distance Learning (ODL) and Master of Instructional Technology Program, Head of Auditor for Faculty of Education, and one of the committee member of University Malaya Family Research and Development Centre. Currently, she is active research and published in the Flip Learning, Educational Technology, Instructional Design and Technology E-Learning Education 4.0, and also the Adult Learning and Open Distance Learning. So without further ado, I want to invite Dr. Siti Haja. The floor is yours, Dr. Siti.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Moderator. So I will share my screen.
Thank you.
So I do hope everyone can see my screen.
Yeah.
Alright,
Sure.
okay, thank you. So this is my sharing topic today is about education 4.0, which it is much more related with the Industrial Revolution 4.0. So again, I'm Siti Haja Halili from Department of Curriculum and Instructional Technology, Faculty of Education. So before that, I will give some overview about the education model. So for the 20th century education model, as you can see on the screen here, it more focused on the content and assessment. Okay, the assessment is only perhaps like 1 or 2 assessments. But for the 21st century learning, so now we are in the 21st century. Okay, so the assessment we can use varieties of assessments in terms of formative, summative, and it's also focused on the skills in terms of the life skills, learning and teaching skills, use the 21st century content and core subjects. For example, like we do have like integration of STEM, GWAT, and also the educators and the students, they must at least have the literacy in terms of the use of ICT. So this is the models of 20th century with the 21st century learning. So why do we need to know about education 4.0? Why is so important about education 4.0? It is because education 4.0, it is more focused on the future of education. So future of education, it means that we need to prepare our graduates, our students for employability. For employability means for their job, for their work. So the university, okay, they need to align their teaching and learning practice and also their process with the use of technological advancements. So what is actually the future of education 4.0 is that it must be blend the teaching and learning pedagogies with the use of 4.0. So what is pedagogy? Pedagogy is the method and practice of teaching. Okay, so previously 20th century we only like use 1 or 2 pedagogy, but in the education 4.0 we have to use like sort of like meta strategy pedagogies. Okay, not only one pedagogy, but you can blend with the other pedagogy. So it is like the method of practice of teaching and blend together with the technology 4.0. So technology 4.0, this is only the example, like the use of 3D printing. We do have that big data, drone, AR, IR, and so forth. So this is what we call it as a education 4.0. Okay, so educators, they need to understand the pedagogy. Okay, what is the pedagogy, the method and practice of teaching, and blend it with the technology 4.0, and then we call it as the term of the education 4.0. So education 4.0, as I mentioned earlier, focus on the students, to let them have the employability after they graduate. So we need to build human capital enhancements to be able to meet the knowledge and skill requirements needed. For example, the knowledge is like knowledge productions and innovation applications of knowledge. They can be like inventor. They can produce or develop a product, and also the skills. Okay, these are the example of top 10 skills of 2025. It is based on the World Economic Forum. So the educators, okay, they need to blend the teaching and learning pedagogies and also technology 4.0 in order for them to build human capital enhancements to achieve the requirements needed, okay, in the industry. So we do have to understand what is the knowledge and also the skills, okay, needed in the future. So this is what we call it as the education 4.0. So next one, how university they can adapt to the demands of education 4.0. So in our University of Malaya, we do have this program, remote learning. So remote learning is what we are practicing now. Okay, because due to the pandemic COVID-19 last year, everyone is like changing their mode of teaching and learning practice from traditional to the remote learning. Alright, so I'm so happy because now all the educators, especially in Universiti Malaya, they can use a lot of tools and applications in order for them to engage the student in their class. Okay, this is what we can introduce our students with the remote learning to tally with the education 4.0 demands. And currently, University of Malaya also offer this ODL program. Some of the faculties, okay, they are currently doing this ODL, do all the paperwork of this program. And I also one of the expert been appointed by UMSET to assist UMSET in order for them to understand the ODL concept. And also the education 4.0 also we can see in terms of offering the program of MOOC. Okay, so I think all of you know what is the MOOC. So this is how the university, how they can adapt the demands of education 4.0 is that they offer all these kind of programs to their students. So this is my area, which is a flipped classroom approach. So since I joined University of Malaya, okay, I've been introduced with this flipped classroom when I joined this conference. But at first, I'm not really sure what is flipped classroom. So this is what my imaginations about what is flipped classroom at first. But then I did some research, to understand what is a flipped classroom. Then only I understand that the flipped classroom is the activities, okay, more focused on the activities before the student attend to the class. So whatever activities, the learning materials will be given to the student before they attend the class. That is how we the flipped classroom, which is focused more on the activities. So in class, the instructor is only they don't have to do a lecturing, but they just do activity with the students. Whatever the activity that they did must be tallied before the students attend the class. Meaning that all the learning material will be given to the student. The student will do revisions, or perhaps if the lecturer provide them with the video, so they will watch the videos, and then you will give them instructions, and in class you will do activities. So there is much interaction, engagement with your student in class. So for this flipped classroom, okay, since last year also, because of the COVID-19, most of the teachers, they conduct the flipped classroom because they need to understand the students' background. If let's say they don't have any difficulties in terms of the internet connections, so they will provide them with the whatever learning material first, and then when they have the real time synchronous learning, they will only do discussions with the students, no more lecturing. So lecturing is before, so they will conduct, they will provide the students with all the learning materials like video, like notes and so forth before the real time synchronous learning happens. So this is what we call it as a flipped classroom. So why I want to share with all of you the flipped classroom with the education 4.0 is that, as you all know, the evolution of industrial revolution 4.0 is start with the IR 1.0, IR 2.0, IR 3.0 and IR 4.0. The same goes to the flip. Okay, so flip also, it has its own evolution. Okay, it evolves from the flip 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 and 4.0 is what I'm currently doing for this flip 4.0. So what I can see, the evolution from the flip of 1.0 to until the flip 4.0 is that in terms of the content, okay, in terms of the meaningful of learning. Okay, for the flip 1.0, I can see that the first, we just like to digitize all the teaching and learning contents, okay, with the use of videos. Okay, so more times saved and more focus on the teaching and learning process and do activities in class. So that is a flip 1.0. For the flip 4.0, I can see that they use a lot of OER resources, okay, or any available resources, for example like open textbook, open access journals, and so forth. So that is a flip 2.0. Flip 3.0 is more focused on to facilitating students to have a meaningful learning by doing, by practice. For example, like hands-on learning, experiential learning, collaborative learning, and the in terms of the focus of learning also from personal to the mass space. This is what the MOOCs came in, okay, because of the Flip 3.0. And the Flip 4.0, it use a lot of meta strategy pedagogies. Okay, not only one pedagogy but use of different pedagogies and blend in your teaching and learning contents. And it utilize the use of technological advancement 4.0, and then it also consists of content-rich resources, and also the more focus is that the reflections of learning. Okay, so perhaps you can do like the student will at the end they will have their own e-portfolios, e-assessments, so because the Flip 4.0 at the end they want to know the reflections of your students learning. So this is the evolvement of Flip 1.0, 2.0, 3.0 to 4.0. So this is my last slide. The conclusion is that as you can see here, the IR 4.0 until IR 4.0 and the involvement of Flip 1.0. As you can see here, the handset also it evolves from the use of Nokia to our smartphone. In terms of car also, the televisions, okay, to the smart television. So but some things which never change is like this lah, this one nail clipper. So this one never change lah. I do not know, maybe from faculty of engineering, you can do some innovations, in terms of this nail clipper. I do not know in future. So for my Flip study, my area, I have a collaboration with my colleague from Faculty of Engineering. We do have collaborations under the IRG program. It is the topic is about Flip Museum. So I think most of our faculty members, okay, been invited to do collaborations with other faculties, okay, to give some input, okay, in terms of diversify their expertise and give the input in terms of the pedagogy part. So I think that is all from me. Thank you so much. I return back to the moderator.
However, there are some resistance, right? Saying the IR 4.0 should not be the way. It will destroy our economy. In other sense, due to automations, a lot of people will lose their job, right? Some job will be lost and so on. It will create a chaotics. So I would like to ask the speakers, what do you think about this IR 4.0? People are what we call disagree with that. That means they want to how to say, right, to have more moderates instead of IR 4.0. They want to be industrial evolutions. instead of revolutions, they want to have industry evolutions. That means move slowly. What do you think about this? Because the world cannot wait, because they want a revolution instead of evolution. So what do you guys people are thinking? So especially in the educations.
Okay, from the education part, okay, we focus more on the three domains. We do have like cognitive, effective, and psychomotor. So I don't think so the robot can replace the teacher, because let's say the cognitive, yes, of course can. The robot can do that. For the psychomotor, yes, there's a movement, the activity also can do, but lacking of the effective skills. So I don't think so. I agree with Prof. Saripudi and Prof. Hari that we're not degrading, okay, all the teachers say, but just to upgrade ourselves, okay, because the education 4.0, we do have the education skills meant we need to have the collaborations, we have to instill the collaboration, the communication, critical thinking, and also the creativity. That is the important education skills in education 4.0. Okay, so for example, like students, okay, they want to, like us a Muslim, we want to recite Al-Quran, we still need ustaz to teach us. Okay, we cannot rely on the what we call it, the technology, wherever the Al-Quran technologies, we have all these things, but still we need someone who are knowledge in that field, like ustazah, to teach us on how to recite the Al-Quran. Okay, so I agree with Prof. Hari and Prof. Saripudin. Now we need to upgrade ourselves in order to stay alive in this revolution in terms of our life, our work, and communication. I think that's all.
Thank you. Let's say, for example, how we can accumulate all this talent together and start a project. The city also talk about the educations. How can we there are so many talent in UM. How can we work together? What's the opportunity here? Because we don't want people work in silo. That means this center is doing this and then another center is doing that. But they can come together and work together, right, to start a project. They are good projects and working together and apply grant together, right? What education form of this IR 4.0, right? You may start this because with your experience, you can start something that more educational. That means can be incorporated into their research work as well. Okay, Siti.
Okay, from education, okay, we can provide insight in terms of the pedagogy and curriculum. Okay, we can sort of like incorporate the educational modules, okay, with other fields, sort of like interdisciplinary. It's just that we need to find the right persons to collaborate, okay, because for education, most of us, we are lacking of ICT equipments of facilities, but maybe other faculty, they do have all these technological advancements 4.0. So we need different fields or expertise to provide their insight, the procedures to conduct this interdisciplinary research. And for our side, we can give our input in terms of the pedagogy and curriculum. We do have our pedagogies, how to conduct, or maybe you have your own you have your innovation, you have your product, but you do not know how to fully utilize the product which is related to the educational aspect. So from education, we can provide them with the pedagogy and the curriculum itself. Alright, so I think that's all from me.
Yeah, thank you. So it's very good. That means from your education also you can work with others that is showing the experiment type, how the education and then IR 4.0, how the thing is working, how this automation is working, basically based on the experimental work. With the Malaysia, is it lacking of grants, or is it lacking of opportunities, or is it lacking of talent working in IR 4.0? What is the main hurdles in Malaysia context to bringing forward the IR 4.0?
Okay, my opinion, I agree with Prof. Saripudin. Okay, grants are there every day. We open our email, so they will post any grants, local, internationally. But then we need to pay attention to the scope of the grant with our expertise. For myself, perhaps you can include co-researchers from other faculties, or maybe from other departments in technology. So for my grants, if I want to apply, maybe I will collaborate with other departments, like for counselling. Maybe they have the idea about mental stress, with the use of technology. So try to collaborate with other co-researchers from other departments or other faculties, and then try to convince. Maybe we can convince them that this is sort of like interdisciplinary research, and we can come up with a good proposal because we have the ideas of expertise from different fields, diversify the expertise. And then I also agree with Prof. Hari. Maybe perhaps we can. I know I also can. Thank you, Prof. Hari, for sharing this. Maybe I can after this reach out for any industrial grant, to find industry grant, builds up any collaboration with the industry perhaps in future. So thank you, Prof. Hari, for sharing that. So I think that's all from me, moderator.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siti.